Still ain't brushed my teeth. It's cold as fuck this morning. What's going on, fam? You already know June coming today with another reaction. Today we got song Florida, you know what I'm saying? We got some rappers, you know, we got a little music related topic today, you know. And I told you I ain't doing no music reactions on here. But we can still see what's going on in the music world. So with that being said, I got a video that came across the home page from a newer channel. Shout out New School Stories. It seemed lit. What it say? The air that got Florida rappers lit and locked up. The Florida Story Part 2. We about to go ahead and see what's going on.
Oh, I love it when I'm next to you, riding through the 772.
Where I come from, it ain't safe to believe. Where I come from, they ain't chasing a...
Hey, that old ride, boy. Heard you be getting that check. Heard you be getting that cheddar.
Where I come from, it ain't safe to believe. Where I come from, they ain't chasing a dream.
From the outside looking in, it looks like you're the most hated.
Yeah.
Maybe might be the most hated in Florida right now.
Yeah. It's a jungle for real. You know what I'm saying? Every day a gamble. You know what I'm saying? You taking chances, you know what I'm saying? Walk out that door, you could be in the house taking a chance. Going to the bathroom, you taking a chance. Believe that.
4 young men were in this car when they were shot. Police say 3 of them have died. The vehicle pulled up to their Chevy sedan, opened fire, then took off.
Now at 5:37, 2 men are in jail this morning, including an up-and-coming Florida rapper.
What is going on in Orlando? The Pooties, the Glokknines, you did have records with them before.
That shit's still kind of crazy. This that nigga last name is Demons. That's kind of ironic.
You went to jail. Now it's like the fans don't see y'all together. They don't see y'all doing music together.
Well, I guess at one point you had a situation with Glokknine.
Right.
Orange County deputies believe a feud between these 2 local rappers and their alleged ties to the 438 and AFNF is behind that shooting and other violence spanning between Orange and Osceola counties.
Controversial rap album cover is making its way around social media. The cover shows pictures of men who have been...
This man right here. Hold on. Isn't this Ksoo shit? That man Ksoo something different, boy.
The cover shows pictures of men who have been murdered in Jacksonville. Local rapper Ksoo posted the picture to Instagram. It's since been taken down.
They on this bitch having the time of their life. Talking about they smoking one of their ops. The time of their life.
Once the dead get involved, it's already too far. So anything after is no more limit. So if the dead get involved, it's already too far. So anything after is no more limit to it. You get what I'm saying? No more limit.
Give the next level of nerds a spin.
The past 5 years in Florida have arguably been some of the craziest times in rap history.
Oh yeah,
Breakout artists like YNW Melly and Rod Wave have skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, this lit. Hold on now.
Artists like YNW
Hold on,
Melly.
let me turn this up. That bitch already up. I might need to put both AirPods in. It's lit.
Has skyrocketed up into mainstream success, and wars in cities like Jacksonville and Orlando have fueled the music and found themselves getting national attention.
Oh, this shit lit! Hold on!
This
shit lit! Hold on!
Success, and wars in cities like Jacksonville and Orlando have fueled the music and found themselves getting national attention. In a short period of time, the state has produced countless successful rappers, but also an unusually high amount of rappers who have found themselves back in jail fighting big cases. The whole time, the ever-changing situation has kept fans' attention glued to the state. So in this video, we'll take a look at the period in Florida rap from 2018 to 2023.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Brody hard.
This is part 2 of the history of Florida rap, so if you haven't seen part 1, go check it out first. There will be a link in the description.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
The last video ended in 2018 with the passing of X and the start of the end of SoundCloud rap. The genre was losing the hold that it had on Florida for the previous couple of years, but it wasn't completely over. An artist named Snot had been quietly grinding since 2016, And in 2018, he started to take off with the big song called Gosha that he dropped in August. As the years went on, he would continue to be one of the hardest carrying the torch for cloud rap. Despite the rise of Snot, 2018
going to the cloud rap days.
Despite the rise of
Man,
Snot, 2018.
Them Raider Clan days. I got in the Raider Clan a little bit later. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was still going on, but like I ain't jump on it, you know, when it first kicked off. Man, but yeah, Raider Clan days, and then with what's the name when they linked up with ASAP down. Man, them motherfuckers hard.
Rap. Despite the rise of Snot, 2018 marked a clear shift in the types of artists who started blowing out of Florida. The era of rappers blowing up off fun music they were making at home on their laptops that was 95% fiction was over, and an era of real gangsters was beginning.
Is when Florida really started to turn up.
In West Orlando, several artists were beginning to gain a buzz, and Glokknine was the first to take off. Glokknine had started rapping in 2017, and in 2018, he dropped his debut mixtape, Cold Face, Cold Case. The mixtape earned him some attention, and one song in particular, called Jail Hizzy Blues, stood out. He ended up dropping a music video for the song that got a lot of attention and views, and Worldstar ended up posting it on their channel as well, where it really took off and went viral. Glokknine was getting tons of comparisons to Kodak.
And that was like the last little bit of Worldstar being really like that. But Worldstar and Say Cheese really like put motherfuckers on and shit. Like they started out with Worldstar and then Say Cheese took that, you know what I'm saying, kind of, I guess say to the torch. But shout out to them too, man. Well, what's his name? I don't want to fuck it up. Rest in peace, Q. I think that was his name. Yeah, I think that was his name. I don't want to fuck it up.
And Worldstar ended up posting it on their channel as well, where it really took off and went viral. Glokknine was getting tons of comparisons to Kodak, and people were saying he was trying to copy him, but the music really wasn't that similar. They just had a similar image, lingo, and heavy Florida accent. The Kodak comparisons actually ended up helping Glokknine, and were part of the reason he went as viral as he did. Glokknine wasn't the only rapper out of West Orlando taking off, though.
I remember that too, cause like you know, motherfuckers from Florida be like, unless you like one, of course, the motherfuckers from the already know, and the motherfuckers that's around, you know, like places around Florida, and obviously motherfuckers have been anywho. But it's like when motherfuckers was saying that, it was a point where they were saying like a lot of Florida rappers, like, you know, was sounding like Yak, you know, when Florida was starting to really come up, and it's like. Yes and no. I mean, it's kind of that sound, but even then, like, that's not even everybody's sound in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So, like for example, even here in Tampa, we don't really have niggas. It's not really like a Kodak. We've always not saying we fuck with Kodak tough, but like, you know, you not hearing niggas coming out sounding like Kodak. You know.
And we're part of the reason he went as viral as he did.
Cold out here, man.
Glokknine.
What the hell going on?
And we're part of the reason he went as viral as he did. Glokknine wasn't the only rapper out of West Orlando taking off, though. He also had a homie named LPB Pootie.
Pootie's so hard, bro. It was a point, I don't know if I still feel this way, but I felt like Pootie was harder than Glokknine. But I felt with Pootie tough, though. That's probably just me.
Taking off, though. He also had a homie named LPB Pootie, who was also taking off in 2018. Pootie and Glock had a couple songs together that were doing numbers, and he also had a solo song called Wonder Man that was also doing well. It looked like together, Glock and Pootie could take over the Florida rap scene, but unfortunately, their friendship wouldn't last.
Crazy.
For some reason, they fell out, and in March of 2018, Glokknine dropped a song called 10%, where he dissed Pootie. 10% ended up blowing up, getting millions of views, and becoming Glokknine's biggest song. Then in August, he ended up signing a $2 million record deal with Cash Money. 2 hours north of Orlando, Jacksonville was also starting to see his local rap scene getting attention as well.
Damn. I didn't know he had signed a deal with Cash Money. What? Now what I do remember, I remember Glokknine. I don't know if he was gonna get signed to them, but I remember with him fucking with NBA them tough. And like, I thought he was gonna be on their roster at some point. I could have sworn. Anyway,
Jacksonville was also starting to see his local rap scene gaining attention as well. Yungeen Ace had begun rapping seriously in 2017, and by early 2018, his music was starting to get some attention. Worldstar was posting his videos regularly, and it appeared that he was next up. Then, in August, his world was flipped upside down.
That's funny how he pointed out Worldstar was, because that's how I found out about him. It was Worldstar. I just seen them, you know what I'm saying? They were going crazy on Worldstar, and boom.
Worldstar was posting his videos regularly, and it appeared that he was next up. Then, in August, his world was flipped upside down. One night, he was out celebrating his brother's birthday with two close friends, but unknown to them, ops were lurking. When Ace and his brothers left and got in the car, they were followed, and at the first red light, the ops pulled up beside them with Dracos and opened fire.
Shit crazy.
There's an area called
The ops pulled up beside them with Dracos and opened fire. Everybody in the car was hit. Ace ended up taking 8 shots and still miraculously surviving, but everybody else in the car died. To make matters worse, Ace was found with a gun on him, so as soon as he got out the hospital, they took him straight to jail for a month.
I was just about to say too, I remember the video, because I was, anyway. I was, you know, you thinking this shit, you don't say it, but then you like, I was just about to say, but then you can't even really say it because like, okay. But like, you really was thinking it and they didn't say it. Yeah, that's what happened.
To make matters worse, Ace was found with a gun on him, so as soon as he got out the hospital, they took him straight to jail for a month. Outsiders were shocked, but people in the city knew that beef had been brewing. One of the main people Ace had beef with was a rapper called Foolio. Foolio was an early Jacksonville music pioneer and had songs buzzing around the city as early as 2015. Through the years, he had continued to grind and put out music, seeing a little success, but never getting the big break he was looking for.
See what consistency do? Since 2015. You see what consistency do?
And had songs buzzing around the city as early as 2015. Through the years, he had continued to grind and put out music, seeing a little success, but never getting the big break he was looking for. Internet detectives believe that Foolio's problems with Yungeen Ace started in 2017 with the death of Foolio's cousin at the hands of one of Ace's friends. They believe this was the beginning of the war between the two rival groups, one called ATK, who Yungeen Ace was associated with, and the other called KTA, who Foolio was associated with. So the shooting of Ace, his brother, and homies was believed to be a part of this ongoing beef. And to people in the city, the situation wasn't that unexpected.
Damn.
But to outsiders, it was shocking, and the story got out everywhere. People who had never heard of Ace before
I'm just looking at the headline, like, and just thinking, like, bro, they really went on a mission and almost got all 4. They got 3, which is still crazy. Ace took 8 and still survived. Man. And like, man, Ace, man, shout out to you, dog.
And the story got out everywhere. People who had never heard of Ace before ended up hearing the story about a rapper who was shot 8 times and lost a brother and 2 friends and went to check out his music. It was a horrible situation for Ace to live through, but ended up helping his career out a lot. In August, he dropped a project called Life of Betrayal, which did well, and on this mixtape was a song called Pain, where Ace discussed the situation he had been through, and it ended up taking off, gaining millions of views. Ace continued dropping and watching his numbers grow throughout the rest of the year. Another Jacksonville artist with a very similar story to Ace, called Lil Poppa, also took off around the same time. Poppa had been rapping for years, but in 2018, he experienced a similar situation to Ace, where he was in a car with friends that was shot up and he was hit. He only ended up losing one homie, but the situation inspired him to drop a song called Purple Hearts that ended up taking off, gaining millions of views, and making Poppa the second most well-known Jacksonville artist outside of Ace. Over on the other side of Florida, Rodway was also beginning to gain some attention. Rodway was an artist from St. Petersburg who had started his career.
Hey, bro. Shit was just brewing. all at once, but on the low. So when it popped, like, man, Florida took the fuck off. Man, listen.
Also beginning to gain some attention. Hotboii was an artist from St. Petersburg who had started his career in 2016. He grinded for 2 years straight, dropping consistently, and by 2018, his music was starting to take off, and he was making a name for himself and doing numbers. Rod had a big year, but the most watched Florida artist in 2018 was Melly. YNW Melly started taking his career seriously when he came home from jail in 2017. He got to work dropping some of his best songs like 772 Love and Murder on My Mind. By 2018, Melly started to see things take off. He had songs like Blue Balenciagas and Butter Pecan going crazy, to see 772 Love and Murder on My Mind. By 2018, Melly started to see things take off. He had songs like Blue Balenciagas and Butter Pecan going crazy.
That was the first one I heard.
And even though it had already been out, this was when Murder on My Mind really started going viral, racking up millions of views. He capitalized on this motion and dropped his debut album, I Am You, in August. Melly was blowing up and had people like Ye reaching out to him to make music. So it appeared that he was going to be the next star. He started 2019 strong, dropping his second project, We All Shine, in January, hitting 27 on the Billboard Top 100. Then, on February 13th, he was arrested and charged with 2 bodies. And these weren't just 2 random people. These were the 2 people he had called his best friends. Back in 2018, Melly's friends Stack Chaser and Juvie had lost their lives to what was believed to be a drive-by. However, in February, when Melly was arrested, the cops revealed that they believed Melly had been the one to pull the trigger on them, and his friend Borland had helped him fake a drive-by. Catching a regular body would generate a crazy amount of attention for a rapper, but the YNW Melly situation was insane. Basically every media outlet covered it. And on top of this, the fact that his biggest song was called Murder on My Mind, and then he got booked for 2, caused his music to go crazy. Melly was officially mainstream, getting millions of views daily, but he was sitting in a cell facing a case that wasn't looking very good for him. The next 2 most viral rappers in Florida this year was a duo from Miami called the City Girls. The 2 artists had gotten a big look in 2018 when they were featured on Drake's hit single, In My Feelings. Then in November, they dropped a song called Act Up. It didn't blow up immediately, but around January of 2019, it started to take off and go viral, and it ended up becoming a big part of the infamous Hot Girl Summer. The situation was slightly strange though, because one half of the duo was locked up during the entire rise for credit card fraud and wouldn't get out until the next year. Up in Jacksonville, Ace was going crazy. He teamed up with Yungeen on a collab album called Can't Speak on It, and the hit single Ops took off, doing 5 million views in a month.
That shit slept on right there. That's my shit. Dead Man Walking, my fucking, oh my God. That shit right there. Damn, rest in peace, Yungeen, bro. Fuck. Oh. Not Jay. 23. Man, I was fucking with 23. Yeah. Damn, Jay.
Up in Jacksonville, Ace was going crazy. He teamed up with Yungeen on a collab album called Can't Speak on It, and the hit single Ops took off, doing 5 million views in a month on YouTube. He followed this up with the solo album called Step Harder, which is also very successful, with the title track blowing up and becoming one of his biggest songs ever. Around summer, the ATK KTA beef really started spilling over into the music. In January, Foolio had taken a big loss when he lost a friend in his first, who has his little brother named Baby.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Ksoo something special in numerous ways. But bro, something special. Like, you know what they need to do, bro? They need to really let them like rap behind, like get them some equipment back there and really like let them rap some shit. Cause you know they was doing some crazy shit out here, so you know they end up seeing some crazy shit, probably doing some crazy shit. And you know niggas love to rap about it. They need to get them. I don't know. They need to let them shoot. They need to let them shoot music videos, like for real. I mean, like Cause you know how the rappers, they be like booking spots to go do it, like when they free. I'm talking about the motherfuckers that's really in there. Like they need to let Pooh Shiesty go record some shit. You know what I'm saying? Do the video, put that shit out on YouTube. Nah, they need to stop playing, cause it's like everything already coming out anyway. Or just put it. You know what I'm saying? They need to do a video, man. It's coming. Watch. It's coming. Watch. Cause that's the next thing. They already letting motherfuckers see shootings and everything on YouTube. They gonna let you. They even already got motherfuckers in prison doing videos. They gonna let them have real production now. They gonna get Cole Bennett in there. Hell yeah, man. Yeah. They get Cole Bennett. They get goddamn Drew. Yeah, they get Drew in there. Who else? Shit. Yeah.
In January, Foolio had taken a big loss when he lost a friend he referred to as his little brother named Bibby. Foolio's ops would constantly diss Bibby and smoke him relentlessly. The main op doing this was Ksoo. Ksoo was Ace's right-hand man and alleged shooter. He had started rapping in July, dropping a song with Jada Yungeen, and from the beginning he was extremely disrespectful and dissed Bibby and 3 of Foolio's other dead homies on his first song ever. Foolio responded with a freestyle on the Crazy Story beat, dissing several of Ksoo's dead homies. Then in September, Ksoo came back with 2 even more disrespectful songs called Dead Ops and Ksoo Bitch. Foolio responded with his own song called Dead Ops and another song called Address It. Alongside Foolio, another KTA rapper called YNW Melly was also starting to gain some attention with songs like Dead Ops and 23K, but he got locked up on a weapons charge before he could take off.
But he would have blew
in the
too
same
if he
city,
didn't get locked,
but on a completely different wavelength charge before he
He
could
would
take
have
off.
blew.
In the same city, but on a completely different wavelength, YK Osiris had busted onto the scene with his hit single Worth It, which had blown up into a commercial hit. Jacksonville was making a lot of noise in 2019, but over in St. Petersburg, Broadway was outshining everybody else in the state. In May, he dropped Hard on Ice. The song would be the biggest hit of his career, but it didn't take off immediately. He dropped an album called PTSD in June, which also did well. Then he dropped a remix to Hard on Ice in September, and a big song with Kevin Gates called Cuban Links in early October. By late October, Hard on Ice started to blow up. Broadway dropped Ghetto Gospel on November 2nd, and the whole time Hard on Ice was continuing to go crazy viral. It gained over 25 million views in a matter of weeks. In the span of a month, Broadway went from buzzing with big songs over 1 million, but still not widely known, to the biggest rapper in Florida, even surpassing Kodak and Melly in terms of searches. In 2020, Broadway remained the biggest.
Damn, that's major. Shout out to Rod. Shout out to Rod, man.
Passing Kodak and Melly in terms of searches. In 2020, Broadway remained the biggest artist in Florida, and everything he dropped was hitting 1 million on YouTube easily. He dropped an album called Pray for Love containing the hit single Rags to Riches, which went even crazier after Lil Baby got on the remix. Over in Orlando, a new face was emerging. Hotboii had been rapping as early as 2016 before
Bro, this
Glokknine
video
and
lit, bro. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Man, this shit got like a minute. Ah, what is shit for? Yeah.
Hotboii had been rapping as early as 2016 before Glokknine or Flutie ever started, and in the beginning he was cool with both of them. But he had been caught breaking into houses and had been stuck in the juvenile program while they were blowing up in early 2018. By the time he got out in late 2018, they were already beefing, and he kept his distance, stayed to himself, and put out music trying to make up for lost time. He didn't see much progress for a while, but by late 2019, people were starting to catch on to his music. Going into 2020, he dropped a song called Go Talk, and it blew up, doing over 1 million views, adding to Hotboii's growing wave. Then, in April, he dropped a song called Don't Need Time, and this was his breakout hit. After it dropped, his career took off at a crazy rate, and he became one of the littest artists in Florida. The song was unfortunately connected to a crazy backstory. It was a tribute to Hotboii's homie who had recently been killed, and the person responsible was somebody in Glokknine's camp. This would lead to a bloody war through the rest of the year between Hotboii's crew 438 and Glokknine's homies AFNF. So while Hotboii was taking off doing songs with people like Polo G and Lil Baby, 438 and AFNF were trading bodies, hitting innocent civilians, having shootouts in mall parking lots, and wreaking havoc through Orlando. Another artist who also took off from Orlando in 2020 was Kshordy.
Hold up. You just said a whole lot, bro. Hey, hold on now. In innocence, they shooting out at the mall.
Having shootouts in mall parking lots and wreaking havoc through Orlando. Another artist who also took off from Orlando in 2020 was Kshordy. Kshordy also had problems with Glokknine, and Glock had allegedly shot up his house, which made Reese respond with a song called No Statements, addressing the situation and taking shots at Glock and one of his fallen homies. The song took off, and he was even able to get Dirk on the remix, making it even bigger. He wouldn't see too much success after this, but he at least became one of the biggest artists in Orlando. On a completely different wavelength, an artist called Ksoo from Palm Beach, Florida, took off, dropping a song called Hatchback, gaining millions of views and drawing a lot of Playboy Cardi comparisons. And he would go on to become one of the leaders of the vibey, melodic, SoundCloud-influenced side of rap. Meanwhile, in Jacksonville, the battle between KTA and ATK continued to rage on. A new artist called Dot Breezy popped up, and he began to make some noise, dropping songs like Shoot It Out, Tweak Shit.
J-Dot is hard, though. Motherfuckers fuck with J-Dot tough.
Meanwhile, in Jacksonville, the battle between KTA and ATK continued to rage on. A new artist called Dot Breezy popped up, and he began to make some noise, dropping songs like Shoot It Out, Tweak Shit. He had beef with Foolio and KTA and dissed them often. Ksoo continued to drop and was starting to gain a buzz. He wasn't dissed nearly as much as in the beginning, but he still mentioned Bibby regularly. In August, he dropped a song called Been Dead that really took off, and it seemed like he had a chance to blow up. But in September, he was arrested and charged for a body, ending his rap release. Despite the disses from Ksoo and J-Dot through mid-2020, Foolio was chilling on the disrespect and focusing on more commercial music. But towards the end of the year, things started to heat up again and some new faces emerged. Spot 'em Got 'em was a KTA rapper and good friend of Foolio, and in April, he had dropped a song called Beatbox. The song didn't blow up immediately, but around late 2020, it started to go up. Around this same time, Yungeen Ace clicked up with two Jacksonville rappers called Spinabenz and Wappa with the Chopper. They had mutual friends and ops, so after Ace met them playing the game, they became cool. Spins and Wap were extremely disrespectful and had been dissing Foolio, KTA, and their dead members for most of 20.
Yo! It's funny he said that, and that's still an understatement, bro. He said it was extremely disrespectful. Man, these two is something else, man. What's the name? Foolio made his match when he came across these two. I'm trying to tell you.
After Ace met them playing the game, they became cool. Spins and Wap were extremely disrespectful and had been dissing Foolio, KTA, and their dead members for most of 2020, but they weren't really getting views like that. After they met Ace, they continued dissing and started getting more attention. In late 2020, Foolio began to start back dissing again, beginning in December with the song called Double That. In 2021, things would elevate to the extreme. Foolio started the year off with an extremely disrespectful Back in Blood freestyle. Then, 2 months later, Spins, Ace, Wap, and Fast Money Goon teamed up to drop one of the most iconic diss tracks in history when they dropped Who I Smoke in March. They dissed a total of 8 dead ops, made incriminating statements about events that had already happened, and even made smoking 3 of the names mentioned into the chorus of the song. The song featured a sample from Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles Away, and they shot the video in a nice looking golf course. So between the sample, video location, and extremely disrespectful lyrics, it gave the feel of a when the song doesn't match the video parody.
Bro, that shit still hit hard and the song not even... I'm not gonna lie. How does shit hit hard and the song not even playing?
So between the sample, video location, and extremely disrespectful lyrics, it gave the feel of a when the song doesn't match the video parody.
Hey,
this allowed it to go mega
Hey, it's
viral.
a hard video, man.
the song doesn't match the video, period. This allowed it to go mega viral. It did millions of views in the first couple of days and continued to go crazy for weeks. The song was everywhere, and Foolio was not too happy about this. 3 days after it released, he dropped his first response, which was a freestyle on
that part. Ace, you crazy, man.
The song was everywhere, and Foolio was not too happy about this. 3 days after it released, he dropped his first response, which was a freestyle on
who
the
directed?
release.
Who directed that shit? Oh man, shout out to you.
And Foolio was not too happy about this. 3 days after it released, he dropped his first response, which was a freestyle on the beatbox beat, where he set the record for the most dead ops dissed in the fewest amount of bars.
It was song, but the next
and
shit,
he shot the entire video in his ops hood.
That fantastic.
The song got attention, but Foolio wasn't satisfied, so he went on to make another song, and this time he hopped on Fantasia's I See You to diss even more deceased ATK members, and he shot one of the most disrespectful music videos in history. He had a poster made of Yungeen Ace's brother and homies he lost back in 2018. Then he went to a graveyard to mock him and pretend to grieve for him. The song caught everybody's attention and almost went as viral as Who I Smoke. Foolio had been rapping for around 6 or 7 years up to that point, but this was the first time the majority of the public was discovering who he was. People had been tapped in with the situation brewing in Jacksonville, reporting on it since 2020. But after Who I Smoke and When I See You, there was a huge demand for these types of videos.
He came with 2.
And the biggest channels in the niche began covering it.
And then the second one was even harder too. I will say this. Although it's a fucked up situation, that's some marketing genius, man. If we being honest.
After Who I Smoke and When I See You, there was a huge demand for these types of videos. And the biggest channels in the niche began covering it. In May, Publish X, Trap Lord Ross, Trap Geek, and Hip Hop Daily all made videos about the scene, broadcasting the situation to millions of more people and adding to the growing number of eyes on the city. Everybody was locked into what was going on in Jacksonville, but the FBI was locked into what was going on in Orlando. And in June of 2021, Glokknine, Hotboii, and their respective crews, AFNF and 438, a total of 34 members were charged in one of the largest RICO cases in Florida history. The violence and destruction that had started in 2020 had continued to ramp up to the point that the FBI had to step in. During this time, Glokknine had been in and out of jail, dropping music here and there, but fading from relevance. On the other hand, Hotboii had been emerging as an artist and really looking like a potential mainstream star. He had dropped big songs like Go Talk 2, I Really, and Nobody Special,
I don't know.
collaborating with some of the biggest artists out, like Polo G, Moneybagg Yo, and Future.
He could have got way
But in June, he found himself wanted for various RICO crimes. But Hotboii wasn't ready to go yet, and he chose to go on the run, continuing to post to Instagram and release music. But this lasted about a month, and he eventually turned himself in July and was able to bond out. So for the rest of 2021, Glokknine sat in jail, and Hotboii continued to drop music and put Orlando on his back. Back in Jacksonville, the scene was still cracking, and more rappers were starting to pop out. In May, a rapper called Kshordy dropped his first song ever, Tired of Shooting, getting a decent amount of attention right out the gate. Kshordy was from the 6 Block neighborhood in North Jacksonville, the same hood as Foolio, and had been good friends with Bibby. Despite being from the same hood as Foolio, he had problems with him. Foolio, being Foolio, had taken his beef to the music and dissed him in an unreleased song that came out as a snippet, so Kshordy's first song was actually a response to Foolio. Kshordy had problems with Foolio, but they weren't really ops. But one of Kshordy's actual ops saw that he had started rapping and didn't like it. Shortly after Kshordy had posted his first ever video, Spinabenz went on Instagram and posted an old embarrassing video of him doing a dance that made him look zesty. Then, a couple days later, he dropped an extremely disrespectful song.
But damn, why, Spin, why you hating like that, though? The way this shit just came off, like, damn, you don't want brother to eat, you gonna post some shit like that? I don't know about that. I ain't even know the backstories like that. I don't know, Spin.
They weren't really ops, but one of Kshordy's actual ops saw that he had started rapping and didn't like it. Shortly after Kshordy had posted his first ever video, Spinabenz went on Instagram and posted an old embarrassing video of him doing a dance that made him look zesty. Then, a couple days later, he dropped an extremely disrespectful song called I Don't Smoke Kendra, where he dissed around 10 of Kshordy and Foolio's homies, and threw up the same video clip from IG in that video as well. Spinabenz was red hot off of Who I Smoke, so the song went crazy, getting millions of views and quickly becoming his second biggest song ever. Kshordy and his homies Jake Jit and LaCracker responded with a disrespectful song of their own called The Ops, where they dissed multiple dead ATK members, and their song blew up as well, also hitting millions of views. And
well, this fucking cold, bro. Can't do it.
And their song blew up as well, also hitting millions of views. And Kshordy, who had been rapping for less than 2 months, found himself with a bunch of new fans and buzz around his name. He continued to drop big songs throughout the summer. Then in September, everything came to a halt when he was booked for a body. Also in Jacksonville, but separated from everything going on between ATK and KTA, Nardo Wick was beginning to take off with songs with everything going on between ATK and KTA.
Charged with second-degree murder, facing death penalty.
Beginning to take off with songs like Slide and the original version of Who Wants Smoke. And he continued to drop throughout the year and get cosigns from all the big rappers like G Herbo, The Baby, Lil Poppa, and take off. Separated from everything going on between ATK and KTA, Nardo Wick was beginning to take off with songs like Slide and the original version of Who Wants Smoke. And he continued to drop throughout the year and get cosigns from all the big rappers like G Herbo, The Baby, Lil Durk, and Future. In 2022, for most of Florida, things slowed down. Rod Wave remained the biggest rapper. Nardo Wick continued going up, dropping his Who Wants Smoke remix with Durk, 21, and Herbo, which took off, getting tens of millions of views on YouTube.
Bro, y'all hear that back there? Do y'all hear that?
And the biggest rapper, Nardo Wick continued going up, dropping his Who Wants Smoke remix with Durk, 21, and Herbo, which took off, getting tens of millions of views on YouTube. Ace, Foolio, Spins, and WAP all saw their numbers drop because the beef in Jacksonville was getting old to the fans.
Exactly.
And on top of this, a large portion of the rappers in the scene were sitting in jail. YNW was sentenced to 10 years. Ksoo's own father agreed to testify against him, and Kshordy remained locked up waiting on trial. Hotboii continued rising.
It still shouldn't be that long, because how long he was already locked up for? I don't remember. It's been a little minute.
TF and living to die, but in June, his bond was revoked, and he had to return to jail to wait for trial. Glokknine was sentenced to 7 years in December of 2020 to return to TF and trial. Hotboii continued rising, dropping big songs like WTF on trial's own team for sitting in jail. YNW was sentenced to 10 years. Ksoo's own father agreed to testify against him, and Kshordy remained locked up waiting on trial. Hotboii continued rising, dropping big songs like WTF and Living to Die, but in June, his bond was revoked, and he had to return to jail to wait for trial. Glokknine was sentenced to 7 years in December of 2021 for weapons charges and still had another RICO case hanging over his head. And Melly was in his 3rd year waiting in jail. So all the beef and violence that had brought attention to Florida in 2020 and 2021 ended up getting a lot of artists involved, caught up, and killing the momentum of the whole state. On a smaller scale, artists like Low Shimmy, FCG Heem, and Rico Cartel were starting to take off, and the biggest new artist to emerge in 2022 was real Boston Richey, who blew up in March with his breakout hit, Keep.
Boston hard, bro. I kind of don't like what's going on, but it's not my hand. Shit, it don't matter what I like.
2022 was real Boston Richey, who blew up in March with his breakout hit, Keep Dissin', and signed a feature in August, continuing to go up the whole year. Since 2018, when gangsters took over Florida rap, the state has seen an insane amount of attention as well as bloodshed. Rappers have come and gone, and a lot of the talent the state has to offer is currently sitting in jail. But throughout all of this,
hold on. Okay, this is my thing too. just like, okay, with this video, like, right? You see Florida kind of losing. It seemed like Florida losing a little bit of momentum because of, you know, because a lot of rappers getting locked up. Like, let's be real. So it's like you got someone come along bringing heat back to Florida. You know, Kodak doing his thing too. You know what I'm saying? Keep pumping them out. But you got a fresh face that's bringing heat back to Florida. So it's like, in my mind, it's like, okay, all right. I'm going to say it like this. Like, I want the dude that exposed them, that put, you know, that, the original dude that's with Yak. Do they already have like problems or something like that? Cause it's like I'm thinking like, what'd you get out of that? Like what's up, big boy? Huh? Three Caballeros? Alright. What I getting at? Either way, I think I was saying something like why exposing? Like, I mean, you could just kind of like, okay, to those who know, you know what I'm saying? But it don't have to be like publicized to where it like bring, cause you gotta think too, y'all trying to get out there and eat at the same time. If somebody bringing heat to the state, that's gonna have more exposure for y'all. So y'all gotta, it's certain shit, I won't say like, let slide, like y'all can know, like, I don't know. But it's like, you know, I feel like it shouldn't be publicized the way it is, cause y'all stamped that. Hold on. Cause it's like street dudes, they stamp that. So it's like once they stamp it and the rappers start doing, so it's like, damn, even the fans start doing it too. So it's like, if y'all just stamp it and just you know, leave it on y'all level, it shouldn't be publicized, or, you know, to where it will fuck up opportunity for everybody, if you get what I'm saying. Like, certain shit should be for certain people, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like Boston Richey should have, like, y'all could have, like, alright, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, oh man, Jake, like, you know, pretty much from Tampa. I don't know. I mean, certain people gonna feel a certain way, but I don't know. Cause Boston was bringing some. He was bringing a lot, like, and then you got, you know what I'm saying? He could have linked up, cause what type of time, you know, people don't really like all the tricking. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. But I mean, if that's what he on, fuck it, that's what he on. The music's still hard, right? He could link up with Lil Tyler though, you know what I'm saying? What you talking about, Lil Shimmy? You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, I fuck with him tough. You know what I'm saying? He ain't still going strong, still dropping heat. It's like, it's still like a fire wave coming out of Florida. And I feel like this still ain't gonna stop it, but like, you know what I'm saying? You don't really know what he was in, coming out of Tally for real. So it's like, I hate it for him.
Talent the state has to offer is currently sitting in jail. But throughout all the dissing and war going on, the biggest rapper to come out of Florida in these years rapped about relatable topics like pain, struggle, and heartbreak, and stayed true to himself.
This video hard. Oh yeah, this video hard. Ooh, that video hard. Hey man. Hey, let me know if y'all want to do more of these. I know y'all probably would, but this was hard though, for real. I actually really enjoyed this. I definitely do more of these for real, and really give y'all my, y'all gonna give y'all my honest opinion on some shit. So, just don't forget to like, comment, share the video, subscribe. You already know. And I 5 June, I'm out of here. Peace.